Okay, so I'm going to show you how to draw out a basic men's t-shirt, so like a boxy style, not particularly, it's not going to be like a slim one, just kind of like an oversized, normal, round neck t-shirt. So this is my technical flat template. This is what I would recommend always using in order to draw your flat working drawings from, just because when you're drawing a flat drawing, you're imagining it as though it's lay on the floor completely flat. This mannequin is already in that position ready for you. It's a bit different to one that you would design your normal designs, like your ready to wear designs on or your showpiece designs on. They are more for illustrative purposes, whereas a working drawing is more about where the seam lines will sit, what kind of details are in it. So the way that I work is I always think about how I'm going to draw something using just one half of the garment. So I think it's easier to draw out a garment in one half and then trace it, and it can reflect itself. If you're drawing a garment that isn't necessarily symmetrical, that's something that we can cover later on, but what I'd like you to do today is think about how you can draw out symmetrical garments in the form of working drawings. So I have drawn out on here in blue one half of the body. Because it's a t-shirt, and when I think about how a t-shirt would sit, the sleeves go to a slight slant here. I've chosen to draw out that version of the arm as opposed to one completely flat, because it will be drawn as though it is on the floor, and the way that the seams will fall itself. So you can see I've drawn the blue out. I've done this in blue so that you're able to see, but you can do this in pencil because then you can rub it out after if you feel like you need to. So I'm going to draw in pen. You can also draw out your first initial sketch, your first initial working drawing in pencil as well, but so that you can see this and differentiate the template from the working drawing, I'm going to do it straight in fine liner. So I'm using quite a simple men's t-shirt as my example. So just kind of sleeves that sit above the elbow, a round neckline, and it will go down to the hips on a male. So I'm going to start off by drawing the neckline. And then I'm going to draw a basic outline of the shape of the t-shirt before putting in any detail. When you're looking at this drawing, you need to think about the fact that the way the garment sits on the body, or the way it would fit, is normally bigger than the parts that it's sitting around. So what I mean is, this arm, unless it was a skin tight t-shirt, it's not going to follow the lines of the arm. It's going to be a bit more oversized than that. This is a boxy oversized t-shirt, so I'm not going to follow the lines of the figure. I'm going to bring it out to the side. As I said earlier, I'm only going to work on drawing one half of this because I'm going to trace it out after. So you can see so far I've just got that basic shape drawn in. I'm now going to draw in the sleeve. And that is literally it. What I'm going to do now is think about the details that are going to go into this t-shirt. So there is a ribbing, so a ribbed neckline. And on this design there is also one along the edge of the sleeve. The point of a working drawing is to show where certain stitches are as well. So this is something you need to think about when drawing. A dashed line, so a small dashed line just like this, will tell the person that's looking at this drawing, in order to make it, that that is top stitching. Any block lines, like the ones drawn in, are seams that are joined together, and things like fastenings and buttons, they're other things that you would need to draw in. So that would be like a button, zips. But we are going to cover how to draw all of these details over the next few weeks. So I've got my basic t-shirt shape, ribbing fabric that's used for the neckline and the edge of the sleeve. Normally has lines that go through it because obviously it is like, it's strips of fabric that look like they're joined together. So I'm going to draw those in as well, just to add that detail so it's clear that it's a different fabric to what the t-shirt is. Along the bottom of the t-shirt, there's some top stitching because it's turned up hem, so I'm going to draw that in as well. You need to make sure that when you're drawing in stitching, it goes in line with the seam or the edge that it's being stitched along. So you don't want that to go up on a curve, because if someone was reading this drawing, they would sew on a curve. So that is one half. What I would now do is trace that onto the other side. So you can see it's on this side coming through. And then I would be able to draw one side and mirror it onto the other with either tracing paper or paper that's a little bit clearer. I will do that now, and then I'll show you how to add pocket detail on. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you. One side looks like this, and I've literally traced it through on the other side. What I'm now going to do is, on a new piece of paper, draw this through, and then where that centre line is, I'm going to draw that down in pencil, so I've got it there. Then flip this and I can trace the other side to create a full mirrored garment. Got my full t-shirt drawn through. I'm going to put back in that detail that I had originally. So those lines for the ribbed seams. And that stitch line along the bottom. Before I put in the pocket detail, what you need to do is imagine that this is a flat garment, like sat on the floor in front of you. You'd be able to see the back coming through. So you need to join that line up and show that ribbing again. So on this t-shirt, there's a pocket detail on this right hand side that I'm going to add in. I'm going to draw it in pencil first. Obviously mine's blue so you can see it. But you can do this in pencil so you can rub it out after. And it's a flat pocket, so I want to have that top part a little bit bigger. You would then draw this in, and again you need to think about where the stitching is. So it's going to be on the edge of that flap. Probably going to be along the top so that it's stitched on the t-shirt itself. Then we can draw the rest of the pocket on. When you look at that pocket, you need to think about where the stitching is again, and it's going to be along the edges, otherwise it wouldn't be able to be sewn onto the garment. If you have fine liners that are different thicknesses, this is where they're going to come in really handy, because these lines are kind of like bleeding slightly and going a little bit thicker than intended because of the pen I'm using. So that is just an example of how to draw a basic t-shirt. Obviously it's not perfect because it is a freehand drawing, but this is something that if you are going to university and doing a technical course or a fashion design course, you would learn to use Illustrator and tidy these up.